Hi guys, we are going to get started with something new today that we have not started in class. We are going to be talking a little bit about compare and contrast, which you have probably done before in other grade levels, but we are going to take it to the next level. We're going to take it a little deeper and really focus on comparing and contrasting in ways that help you organize your thinking. So you should have this file in Canvas. It is at the bottom of the assignment screen. When you click on the compare and contrast assignment and it comes up, there's a gray box at the bottom that says, I think, compare and contrast. And when you click on that, this file will open up for you. So you can open that up after this video and finish it on your own. We're only going to get this started together, and then you're going to do the rest of it on your own. All the instructions for that are indicated in the assignments page for compare and contrast. All right, so you know that when we compare and contrast, we're talking about how two things are different, but also how they are the same. And in years past, oftentimes you would use a Venn diagram similar to this one, and you would look for things you can write about football that just apply to football. And then, because we're using a sports reference today, and then you would write about things that only apply to baseball. And then in the middle here, you would put things that apply to both sports. We're going to take that a little bit deeper because in the past, we haven't worried about if the things over here are in the same category as the things over here, if our differences go together. So even though things are different, they can still have a way that they go together and how the differences are in the same category. And when we're trying to compare and contrast things in our writing, it's really helpful if we have differences that we can highlight that go together. That'll make a little bit more sense here in a minute as we start putting this together. But first, I want to talk about what it means to compare very quickly, what it means to contrast. You see you have these words that go down the side of your screen, and these are all things you can click on, and we can move them into the correct places on this Google file. So to compare is to tell how two or more things are similar or alike. And so we're going to move that into that box right there. To tell how two or more things are similar or alike. And we can click here and there are text boxes that will pop up. And I'm going to do a few of these and then you're going to finish this on your own. So clue words for comparing. When we're reading an article or building sentences that compare and contrast things, if we want to say how things are similar or alike, we're going to have clue words. And two of those clue words are similar and alike. There are other things, though, you may come across in your reading that indicate that we are comparing. So you might have something like in the same way, a little bit bigger. Or another example might be using similarly. So those are some examples of clue words. See if you can come up with at least two more words that indicate that we are comparing something and type those into the text boxes yourself. You can pause the video if you want to do that now or go back and do it after the video. We can also talk about how things are contrasting or different. So we'll drag that word over there. And when you're reading an article or a story and they're contrasting two different items, we're going to use words that tell us that things are different. And one of those would be different, unlike, we could use something, another phrase like we used in the same way. We could say not in the same way. And we can also use differently. Those are all words that might come up in contrasting. So see if you can come up with at least 2 more. It'd be great if you can fill in all the boxes. And again, you can pause the video and do this now, or you can wait until we are finished and you can go back and fill those in. So let's go back and look at the Venn diagram. And you have all used Venn diagrams before. This is not new, but we're going to make one change to this, and that is these lines and these categories that are out here on the edge of the Venn diagram. I picked football and baseball because they are things that most American kids are pretty familiar with, and we know, even if you're not into either of those sports, we all know most of the basics about how these sports are played. If you're struggling with that, you can ask a brother or a sister or maybe a parent to help you, because we're going to get started on this and you're going to finish it on your own. So we want to keep anything we put on these lines, we want them to all be in the same category. So we're going to look for a similarity and a difference in the same category. So in this case, we're going to start with where the game is played. So I want anything that goes on these lines to be about where the game is played. So the differences might include a football game is played on a football field. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. There you go. And a baseball game is going to be played on a baseball diamond. Oh, I did it again. You have to go back and move them around a little bit to make sure you're grabbing the right one. Whoops, grab that one again. There we go. And so those are differences. They are played on very different kinds of fields. We could go into the shape of the field. A football field is long and rectangular, while a baseball diamond, hence the name, is more diamond shaped. We know that the way it's laid out is different. You have goals at the end of a football field on each end, and baseball diamond has bases that go around in a diamond shape. So those are all more differences, but they all fall into the same category. But something that is the same about where baseball and football are played is often they are played outside. That doesn't fit there very well. We're going to change the shape of that a little bit and get it in there. One more try. There we go. So usually outside. Now we know professional football stadiums sometimes are enclosed, but for the most part, when you see people playing football in high school, in middle school, and in elementary school, they are playing it outside. And baseball diamonds are the same way. Because of how the ball is hit, those are outside sports. So again, we're looking to find differences and a similarity that are in the same category. So when I talk about baseball and football, I'm actually comparing and contrasting the same thing. I'm saying how they are alike and how they are different in the same way, which is going to make writing a compare and contrast paragraph so much easier. All right, so you kind of see how we've done that. I want you on your own to go ahead and fill in the rest of the blanks about the type of ball, how the game is scored, and the equipment that is used. And all of those things are over here and can be moved around just by clicking on them and getting the blue box around it. When we get back together during our live lesson, we will talk about this and share what we came up with. So you can change your work, of course, when you are done, if you have a mistake. Finally, you'll notice there were some articles to read about a different topic that we are going to compare and contrast. And it's something we're already familiar with from our study in social studies. We're going to compare and contrast the Great Lakes and the Great Salt Lake. And you're going to create a Venn diagram on the next slide that is the same. And you're going to come up with some categories to compare and contrast those two items. And all of these things, you can add text boxes and write in those right on your Google slide, just like we do for our word of the week. So remember, your text box is found up here. You simply click on it until you have the plus sign, and then you can drag and drop a text box wherever you want it. All right, if you have any questions, contact me through Messenger or our afternoon Google conference. Our afternoon Canvas conference, where you can ask me questions face to face. Let me know if you need any help.